phones can everybody buy? How many more laptops and what's that other thing, a tab? What do they call that other little thing that people crap around with? The pad, an iPad.
iPad, okay.
iPad.
Right.
And then they want to do that copper nickel mining up in northern Minnesota. As a governor, I would oppose that. I know a lot of people are going to be for it because they say, well, it's going to create a lot of jobs. I said, we'll do the energy conversion to solar and wind and hydro and conservation and all that. If we went after the buildings in Minneapolis and changed around the heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems and reduced their consumption and save that money, be able to pay the people to look after it and legalize the cannabis. That's one of my issues. Train dental hygienists. We need more dental hygienists and technicians. And stop dumping that dental mercury into the sewers.
Well, that's what I was talking about in the black community. They got a lot of the young black kids thinking the only thing they can do is play basketball and rap. You need to go to school to learn, to study medicine, study science. We need lawyers.
But get them when they're young.
Yeah.
And analyze the kid, what he's capable of, and put him in that direction instead of saying, you go in this classroom over here with the rest of the 8, 9, 10-year-olds and you all learn.
Exactly.
No, that's not the way it's.
And then this thing about they saying that the black kids are not getting adequate schooling. Well, you have to open up your own schools. Like you got white Jewish schools, the black Jews, which is us, we need our own schools, your own hospitals, your own old folks' homes, your own retirement homes.
If you run it right, if you really get the curriculum to match the kid.
Right.
Just imagine if you're working on a kid and you're teaching them, just for argument's sake, automobile mechanics, doing all that, and you start him out when he's 6, 7, 8 years old.
Right.
Well, by the time that kid is 18, he'll be a genius. But what are you going to teach him? About the American Revolution?
Right.
But
one thing about Cuba, a lot of people don't know this.
Cuba?
Cuba has some of the best doctors in the world. And I don't agree with Cuba's government, the way they run their system, but he did invest in the people for, making doctors, making scientists. And that's what we have to invest in more, invest in the children more. And we're not doing that. Like I said, we're bringing all these foreigners in and giving them all the money and not investing in our own people.
But I have the education plan, which is to match the curriculum to the child.
Right.
To find out what that child is capable of. Not saying, well, we're not going to decide that until they're 15. What do you want to be when you grow up, Billy? So, I don't know, a gangster with lots of weed and great chicks and all of that?
Right.
You're asking a kid. You're asking a little kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know, tall, fat, not hungry or rich. I mean, it's a stupid question to ask a kid, don't you think? What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know.
It really is. And then on TV, only thing they see is, portraying as a black man is shooting a gun, being super silly. What's that guy's name? He messed up in a pageant, the American pageant. I can't think of the black dude's name. He's an ex-comedian.
A comedian.
Yeah, he messed up in the pageant, and he's been apologizing ever since. Steve Harvey. Now, Steve Harvey, that's not the ideal role model for blacks. He's not a hero. In fact, he's super silly to me.
Well, what do you think the whites got as heroes? They're just as bad, you know what I mean? There are no good heroes or role models out there.
But Steve Harvey,
I don't know. I don't know that guy.
Like I say, they got us. Like I said, we either as black men, we either super serious about killing somebody or super silly. And I don't want to be portrayed as a silly man.
Where do you see him, Steve Harvey?
He's making good money, but
what does he do?
He's got a TV show and it's basically like a reality show.
Oh, he's on cable?
Well, no, he's on the main channel, one of the main channels. But that's not what we need for a role model. That's not real life. Just like the Huxtables, Bill Cosby. That's not real life. That's not the real black family. Yeah. We portrayed it as, like I said, being super silly, or super serious about killing somebody, and I don't want to be portrayed as a joke.
Well, you talk about Bill Cosby, he got in trouble, you know, and he's going to stay in trouble. But, well, he couldn't carry Bill Clinton's condom case. Billy Clinton, he's really taken him to task. And they said he used to fly on a plane with this guy, Epstein's got a jet.
Right.
And they used to call it the orgy flight.
Right.
Because they'd have these young girls on, and had a big bed on the plane.
Right.
And they'd be banging the young girls on the plane with Bill Clinton, President of the United States, and his friend Epstein going over to Orgy Island.
Oh, yeah.
So look, there's not such great role models for white kids to follow either.
Well, I don't believe Bill Cosby raped those women. I believe he tricked off with them. But I don't believe he raped them because everybody jumping on the bandwagon. Now, he raped me. It took you 30 years to report that this man raped you? That's bullshit.
Well, he drugged them. Is it something you could believe he drugged them?
No. Bill Cosby don't have to drug nobody. I mean, his money long enough to pay for some pussy.
Yeah, but he signed some papers with one case that he settled that he gave him Quaaludes. He signed that in an agreement. He confessed.
Well, if he did do that, he's sick. I don't know if he did it or not.
Well, yeah, he did some really negative things, but that's what happens when people get powerful and hungry and greedy and all of that, and they just can't get enough. But the only person I feel sorry for in that whole case is his wife, because she seems like a classy woman, and to be saddled with that kind of a thing, pretty bad.
What people don't understand, Bill Cosby's an older man, his wife getting older. Bill Cosby like looking at them young girls like anybody else like looking at those young girls.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that.
I mean, we're gonna keep it real.
How about Jesse?
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse,
well, he's talking about running for the Libertarian Party.
No,
right?
he's not going to.
He's playing.
No, he's just going to run for the toilet or something. That's Jesse Ventura. That's the Always Cheat book that I wrote. I wrote this book about Jesse Ventura because I learned about him, that he cheated the people in Minnesota. He kind of said he was a Navy SEAL, and he wasn't. He said he was going to do this, and he didn't. So I like to expose him. So we spent $20,000 and did this book called Always Cheat, exposing Jesse Ventura.
Always cheat.
Always cheat. It's good, cute name, because that's what he said. I just took his own words, shoved it down his throat. He said, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. So he's a cheater. Okay. So if you want a copy of this book to tell you about him, just in case he's out there and kind of sticks his nose in our business, you just tell him you got Leslie Davis's book, so we know all about you, Jesse Ventura. And you know, I got a lawsuit going with my buddy John Wesley about the bridge, the 35W bridge.
Oh, yeah.
I told you about that a little, but I never showed you. Not going to be able to show the pictures because people can't see it. But this the highway, how it came down straight like this.
Exactly.
And what do you think made it go over that way? Twist it over that way? It's because this wing here fell, hit this beam, knocked the bridge off. And they lied about what happened, how the bridge fell down. So we sued them, a bunch of people, under the False Claims Act, saying that they lied about how the bridge fell in order to get money from the government.
I want to ask a question. How old was this bridge?
40 years old.
Okay, that's all? Well,
1960, I think, they built it.
Well,
and it was when this bridge fell, all you'd hear on the thing, 8-lane bridge fell during rush hour.
Exactly.
It wasn't an 8-lane bridge. Mm-hmm. It was a 4-lane bridge.
Okay.
4 lanes on the edge. These on the edge were for pulling off or turning over or pulling on or pulling off, or if you're breaking down, you got to pull over. It was never meant to be an 8-lane bridge. Wasn't built to hold it. So when this broke off, I'm surprised it took so long for that to happen. So that piece that you're looking at here, see the little white shed?
Okay.
That's your landmark. Here's that little white shed.
Okay.
And here's that pier going up right here.
Okay.
So when this piece of roadway fell and hit that beam, knocked it right off the pier.
Okay.
And down came the bridge.
I remember that. I remember that.
There was no worn gusset plates or pigeon crap underneath. They lied about it. So we're trying to get some lawyers to help us. So under the False Claims Act, we're whistleblowers, we can get a piece of the settlement money. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
So Kelvin, we covered a lot of ground. Thanks for showing up again.
Thanks for
And,
having me.
Yeah, we're set to go. Kelvin Burns from Minneapolis, South Minneapolis, from Michigan.
Originally from Michigan, Detroit,
And we're
Michigan.
gonna have the Melanics coming down.
I see Salam Atlantics.
Hey,